Hello students, I am Krishna Kanjani from LG Institute of Engineering and Technology. Welcome to the online lecture series on kinematics and theory of machine. In today's session, we will solve one numerical of gear train. In our previous session, we have solved one numerical which is based on reverted gear train. So in this session, we will solve one numerical which is containing a simple epicyclic gear train. Okay, so let's start this session with the numerical number 4 of gear train. Now, in this numerical, the given data is an epicyclic gear train which is arranged as shown in figure. So over here you will get one advantage that they have given the diagram of this assembly. Okay, so now in this numerical we have to calculate that how many revolutions does the arm. Okay, so we have to calculate the revolutions, or we can say RPM of arm to which the pinion B and C are attached. Okay, so this arm is containing two pinions, that is pinion B and pinion C. Okay, so over here be careful over here. So from data you can simply identify that how many revolution does the arm. So you have to calculate the RPM of arm. Now the data is given that first condition when gear A makes one revolution, in second condition again A makes one revolution. So two conditions are given. Okay, so simply we can identify. Now another data, the number of teeth on gear A and gear D are given as 40 and 90. Okay, so first of all we can list out the data that it is given that number of teeth. So we can simply write down that TA is equal to 40 and TD is equal to 90, that is given in our data. We can identify that we have to calculate the number of teeth of gear B and gear C, because over here they have given for only A and D. Okay, so now how can we calculate this number of teeth? So for that we have to consider the geometry. So now from diagram we can simply identify that if you refer this whole geometry, then the total diameter of gear D is made up of mainly three diameters, that is consisting diameter of gear C, diameter of gear A and diameter of gear B. Okay, so we can simply write down the diameter of A plus B plus C is equal to diameter of gear D. Now another data they have given that if you refer the geometry, then gear B and gear C, they both will be having the same diameter, because then and then they will be able to rotate around this gear A. Okay, so we can simply write down the diameter of B is equal to diameter of C. So your final equation will become diameter of A plus 2 times diameter of B is equal to diameter of gear D. Now we have a simple idea that the teeth circle diameter is always proportional to the number of teeth of that gear. So we can write down over here that teeth of gear A is equal to 2 times teeth of gear B is equal to teeth of gear D. Okay, so now we have the number of teeth of gear A and gear D, so we can put that value and we will simply identify that the number of teeth on gear B is equal to 25. Now similarly the number of teeth of gear C will be also similar, because we have simple idea that diameter of B is equal to diameter of C. So we can simply write down that number of teeth on gear C is again 25. Okay, so now we can sort out this data, and to solve this numerical, first of all we have to use the tabular method which is used for solving epicyclic gear train. So let's draw the table for epicyclic gear train. Okay, so for that we have to consider this data. Now the table of epicyclic gear train consists mainly two columns. First column that is known as a condition of motion, and second column which is known as a revolution of each and every element. Okay, so now we have to make the list of components. So over here we can refer that for epicyclic we will always consider arm as your first component. So your first component, that is your arm. Now this arm is connected with your central gear, that is gear A. So your next component, that is gear A. Now this gear A is connected with gear B and gear C. Now the speed of gear B and gear C both will be same, because over here you can simply identify that diameter of B and C is same, and similarly the number of teeth of gear B and gear C is same. Okay, so we have to consider that gear B and C as a single unit. Now the fourth component, that is this gear B and C, are connected with the ring gear, that is gear D. Okay, so your fourth component is your gear D. Now the first condition, which is let's consider the arm is fixed. Now each and every numerical we will always consider the arm as fixed in initial condition. So let's consider that gear A, which is your first element, is given as -1 revolution, or we can simply consider that we are giving 1 revolution in clockwise direction. So now the clockwise revolution is considered as a minus symbol, so that's why we have to consider over here that -1 rotation is given to your gear A. So over here in this table, first of all you will put 0 for the arm, then -1 for the gear A. Now this gear A is meshing with gear B. Okay, so you can consider this one as a simple gear train. Okay, so let's consider that speed of gear B upon speed of gear A, which is equal to number of teeth on gear A upon number of teeth on gear B. Okay, now simple relation, that speed is always inversely proportional to the number of teeth. Okay, so over here you will be able to get that this speed of gear B is equal to TA upon TB. Now the direction of rotation, so over here as we are able to identify that your gear A is rotating in clockwise direction, so your gear B will be rotating in anti-clockwise direction, and for anti-clockwise rotation we have to consider plus symbol over here, so that's why your plus TA by TB, that is the equation of speed of gear B. Now similar type of equation can also be written for gear C. Okay, let's consider A and C that are directly in contact. So in that case you can write down that speed of gear C upon speed of gear A is equal to teeth of gear A upon teeth of gear C. Now we have simple idea that teeth of B and C both are same. Okay, so over here you can write down the same equation as TA by TC also. Okay, you can write down any of these two equations. Okay, now next component. So next component, that is your gear D. Now let's consider that gear D is meshing with gear B. Okay, let's clear this screen first. Okay, so over here we have to consider this gear D. So now this D gear is meshing with gear B. Okay, over here if you consider the cycle in such a way that A is transmitting power to gear B and B is transmitting power to gear D. Okay, so in that case we can write down the equation that speed of gear D upon speed of gear B is equal to number of teeth of gear B upon number of teeth of gear D. Okay, now over here the speed of gear B, now we have to multiply this with speed of gear B. So in that case your equation for speed of gear B is equal to TA by TB. So we have to simply multiply this equation with TA by TB. So now your final equation will become like TB by TD into TA by TB. Now the speed of number of teeth of gear B, okay, so we can cancel out this, so your final equation will become TA by TD. So in this way we can derive the equation for speed of gear D. Okay, now after deriving the final equation for the first condition, now we have to consider the second condition. Now in second condition we will simply replace this 1 revolution with X revolution. Okay, so the next condition will be your arm is fixed again and gear A is given -X revolution. So in that case your gear A will be rotating with X, so you have to simply multiply this X term on both the columns. Okay, so you will get the final equation for the speed of each and every element when gear A is given -X revolution and your arm is fixed. Now the third condition where we are adding -Y revolution to each and every element, in which we are simply adding -Y RPM to each and every element of this assembly. So over there you will get the final equation for total motion, which is a simple addition of rho 2 plus rho 3. Okay, so you have to add these two terms. So over here the total motion equation will become 0 minus y, so it will be a final equation of -y. Over here -x minus y, so your final equation will become -x minus y. Similarly you can add the row 2 and row 3 for the third and fourth column also. Okay, so from this method we are able to get the total motion, that is your row number 4, which is very important in case of epicyclic gear train. Okay, so now we will use this fourth row for our total motion equation and we will solve this numerical. Okay, so let's sort out this data, make a list of total motion of all the components, and over here we have to consider the first condition. Now in first equation what we have to calculate, how many revolution does the arm, it means we have to calculate the speed of arm. So over here we can consider that speed of arm is equal to y. So simply we have to calculate the variable y over here. Now to get the value of y, we have to use these equations. So now the condition is given in such a way that A makes one revolution in clockwise direction. So your first condition, that gear A, NA, is making plus one revolution in clockwise direction. Okay. Now second one, gear D makes half revolution in anti-clockwise direction. Okay, let's consider the first condition. So as the gear A is making one revolution in clockwise direction, so in that case clockwise direction is mentioned with minus symbol. So your equation will become minus x minus y is equal to minus 1, because A is rotating with 1 rpm in clockwise. Okay, so we can simply remove this minus sign from both the sides. So your final equation, that is equation number 1, which is equal to x plus y is equal to 1. Now the second condition. Now the second condition, that gear D makes half revolution in anti-clockwise direction. Okay, so what we can say over here? So speed of gear D, ND, is given as half revolution. So we have to mention is equal to 1 by 2, and which is in anti-clockwise direction. So that's why we can put plus sign over here. We have simply written this equation over here. Okay, now to simplify this equation, we have to put the value of number of teeth of A and D that we have been given in our data. So by putting this value, we will get the equation in terms of x and y. Okay, let's simplify this equation. So your final equation will become x minus 2.25y is equal to 1.125. Okay, now this is your equation number 2. Now with the help of equation number 1, which is equal to x plus y is equal to 1, and the second equation, now using these two equations, we can find out the value of x. After getting the value of x, we will put this value in our equation number 1, and that will help you to get the value of y. Okay, so from this both the equations, we will get the value of x and y. So now the final data, that we have to calculate the speed of arm. So we can consider that speed of arm is equal to minus y. Okay, so we can put the value of minus 0.04 over here for y. So this minus sign will be balanced with plus symbol. So your final speed of arm is equal to 0.04 rpm, and which is rotating in anti-clockwise direction. Okay, be careful students over here. You have to always mention the direction of motion, otherwise your marks will be deducted in your examination. Okay, so by simply solving these two equations, that is two condition which is given in your first data, you can solve the value of x and y, and that will help you to get the speed of any of the component of this assembly. Okay, now let's consider the second half. Okay, the second data, they have asked that how many revolution does the arm. So again you have to calculate the speed of arm. Okay, so again you have to calculate the value of y. But now what is the change in condition? Now your A is making one revolution. So again your gear A is equal to 1, that is speed of gear A is given as 1, but the gear D is stationary. Okay, so be careful over here. So speed of gear D is stationary, it means it is fixed. So that's why we have to put 0 over there. Okay, so by putting these two conditions in this equation of total motion, we can simply get, so for first condition we can consider minus x minus y is equal to minus y, and similarly we will get the same equation 1. But the change in second condition, that will lead us to this equation where we will get the equation in terms of x minus 2.25y is equal to 0. So now by using this first and second equation, we can solve this terms of x and y. Okay, so you will get that as we are changing, in previous data they have given that D is rotating plus half revolution, that is it is rotating in half revolution in anti-clockwise direction. But over here they have mentioned that gear D is stationary. So by simply putting this condition, we will get the value of x and y. Okay, now your final answer, that is RPM of arm, which is equal to minus y. So by putting these values of y in this equation, we will get that speed of arm is equal to 0.308 revolution, and which is again in minus symbol, which is representing a clockwise direction. So in this way, by using this tabular method, we can solve the numerical of epicyclic gear train. Okay, so numericals of epicyclic gear train are really very easy. Okay, and they are mostly asked in your examination for 7 marks. So you have to simply remember the condition of motion for each and every element, and that will help you to easily solve this type of numericals. Thank you.